We often think that getting healthier or more productive means adding more to our to-do list, right? More habits, more hacks. But what if the real secret isn't what you add, but what you stop doing? Today, we're diving into some really fascinating counterintuitive advice from neuroscientist Dr. Alex Korb, all about the power of subtraction for a better brain.
And look, if this sounds at all familiar, you are definitely not alone. That constant mental background noise of second-guessing and catastrophizing, man, it is exhausting. Dr. Korb even admits this was his own personal battle, which honestly makes his insights that much more powerful.
And this, right here, is the core idea we're exploring. The most powerful changes might actually come from subtraction, not addition. It's all about strategically getting rid of the habits and the thought patterns that are quietly working against you.
And just to be clear, this isn't just some personal opinion or a hot take. This advice is built on a foundation of over 2 decades of research into how our brains actually work. So let's get into the specifics of Dr. Korb's What to Avoid list.
Okay, first up, reframing our inner alarms. This is all about changing our relationship with those nagging feelings, like anxiety, that our first instinct is usually to just push away or ignore completely.
So many of us see anxiety as a bug in the system, right? A personal flaw. But from a neuroscience standpoint, it's actually a feature. Think of it like a smoke detector. It's a signal from your brain's emotional core, the limbic system, that's just trying to get your attention about something that it thinks really, really matters to you.
So instead of trying to just shut the alarm off, Dr. Korb suggests this simple 3-step process. First, you just pause and actually listen to the signal. Then you get curious. Ask yourself, okay, what is this telling me I care about? And finally, you just name the feeling. Acknowledging the signal is the first crucial step to turning down its volume.
Now, this leads us to another really common trap: forced positivity. When we just tell ourselves to look on the bright side. But the neuroscience shows this can totally backfire. When you try to suppress those negative feelings, you're just putting more strain on your amygdala. That's your brain's emotional processing hub, which can, ironically, end up making you feel even worse.
So what's the better way? Well, it's actually way simpler than you might think. Just acknowledge and label what you're feeling. Simply saying to yourself, I'm feeling frustrated right now, or I'm feeling anxious, can immediately release that internal tension. It eases the load on your amygdala and frees up mental space so you can actually refocus.
Okay, moving on to section 2, escaping the motivation trap. Here we're going to look at how the very things we think are pushing us to succeed might actually be a direct path to burnout.
And this one is huge. The myth that being your own harshest critic is the key to success. We all have that inner drill sergeant, right? But while that tough self-talk might give you a short-term kick, it comes at a serious cost. It actually burns through your joy-related neurotransmitters like serotonin, basically running your brain's feel-good fuel tank down to empty. It's just not sustainable.
So that's the big question, isn't it? If beating yourself up isn't the answer, then what is? Dr. Korb recommends the simple but incredibly powerful mental shift. The next time you catch yourself looping on all the things you don't want to happen, just notice it. And then step 2, consciously pivot. Intentionally focus your mind on the positive outcome you do want. It's a small change that can totally reframe your mindset and generate some real motivation. And this is so connected to another major danger zone for so many of us, tying our sense of self-worth directly to how much we manage to get done in a day. The real goal here is to snip that wire connecting those two things. Realizing that your value as a person has nothing to do with your to-do list, well, that's not just a nice thought. As Dr. Korb points out, it actually helps rewire your brain for a much more sustainable kind of joy and fulfillment.
All right, on to our final section, shattering some all-too-common productivity illusions. We're going to look at a couple of popular hacks that might actually be sabotaging your focus and your energy. First up, the great multitasking illusion. Oh man, it feels so productive, doesn't it? That little dopamine hit you get from jumping between tasks can be really addictive. But in reality, all you're doing is putting a massive tax on your prefrontal cortex, the CEO of your brain. It just leads to mistakes and total mental exhaustion. The fix? It's so simple, you're gonna love it. When you need to do deep, focused work, just break it down. Use small blocks of time to give your full, undivided attention to one single thing. No distractions. That's it. Okay, this next one might step on a few toes, because I know a lot of us love our sleep trackers. The goal is a great one.
optimize our rest. But the result? Oftentimes it's just more stress about data points, like how much REM sleep you got, that you can't even directly control. And that stress itself is what can mess up your sleep.
So instead, Dr. Korb says, hey, let's focus on the stuff you can actually control. We're talking about behaviors. Things like getting some sunlight in the morning to set your internal clock, trying to have a consistent bedtime, getting regular exercise, and creating a nice, calming wind-down routine at night. These things have a much, much bigger impact.
So let's do a quick fair recap of the brain's do not list. Don't just ignore anxiety, listen to what it's telling you. Don't use self-criticism as fuel, find a positive purpose instead. Don't obsess over sleep data, focus on your habits. Don't multitask when it matters, single task. Don't force positivity, just acknowledge what you're feeling. And maybe the biggest one, do not confuse your productivity with your self-worth.
And that, right there, is the heart of it all. You don't need to completely overhaul your life overnight. As Dr. Korb says, even the smallest shifts in what you choose to avoid doing can create huge positive changes in how you focus, how calm you feel, and how you fight off burnout.
So, I'll just leave you with this final thought. Looking at that list, which one of those don'ts really hit home for you? Which small thing could you start avoiding, maybe even today, to give your brain a little more space to breathe? Thanks for joining me.